GOP wants to draft Trump as House Speaker. What on earth? You see him smiling there. It's not a joke. Who are the Republicans trying to push as Speaker of the House? Kevin McCarthy removed, first ever. How does it feel to be the first when this is your legacy? Removed as House Speaker in that historic vote. House voted 216 to 210 to oust McCarthy, with a handful of conservatives joining Democrats to remove him. This, as we said, the first time a Speaker of the House has been voted out of office. You're out of here. Hannity claims House Republicans are trying to draft Trump as Speaker. Says the ex-president is open to it. Doesn't he have somewhere else to be in like several states? But we'll hear him out, okay? We'll hear him out. Here's what we have. Watch.
8 Republican lawmakers joining all 208 House Democrats to remove Kevin McCarthy as House Speaker, the first time in our nation's history, and McCarthy will not seek the speakership again. Now, sources telling me at this hour some House Republicans have been in contact with and have started an effort to draft former President Donald Trump to be the next speaker. And I have been told that President Trump might be open to helping the Republican Party, at least in the short term, if necessary, if it's needed. Anyway, now heard from a number of people. I know for a fact Donald Trump has been contacted about possibly him being an interim speaker. Is that a reality?
I don't know. He'd be great, but I want Donald Trump to be the next president of the United States. If he wants to be speaker,
well,
great.
He still,
but,
well, I'll be clear.
I want him to be president of the United States.
For president.
Well, this is nuts. Who could have come up with this idea? Who's behind this? Who would support it? It's nuts, right? Well, I'll show you who. We'll show you who is supporting it. Marjorie Taylor Greene, should have known. She tweeted about Trump becoming speaker too. The only candidate for speaker I'm currently supporting is President Donald J. Trump. And then the rhetoric. Do we really need to go through it? We don't need to really go through that. It ends with "He will make America great again." At what? Insurrection? Maybe. I mean, that's something he can claim that he has experience at. Donald Trump has an opinion on the matter. Says he's focused on doing what's best for the Republican Party. But if you need him to rescue you and get the party back in line, he's open to it. Look.
The country and for the Republican Party. Would you take a job? People. Would you take a say we have some great people? Would you take a job? A lot of people have asked me about it. I'm focused. You know, we're leading. I don't know you. I'm sure you don't read too much in the papers, but we're leading by like 50 points for president. You know, my focus is totally on that. If I can help them during the process, I would do it.
And do you understand where he is right there? As he's uttering these things, he's really rambling on, but he says he's going to do what's best for the party. That would be a first. Dina, let me go to you. Enough sarcasm from me. What do you make of this chaos? It's one thing that they ousted. Well, the guy wasn't trustworthy, but I guess that's what we're going with. They ousted him in this historic move. And now this is what you're floating?
I think that they are wanting to be a party that's dysfunctional. And if they want to shut down the government, appointing Trump as speaker is an ideal way of doing it. I mean, as we know, Matt Gaetz and the 8 Republicans who really took him out of office did it because they were so mad that he passed this stopgap measure averting a shutdown. I mean, it wasn't even a full, resolution that actually was going to fund the government. It was going to just buy them 6 weeks of time. And that was so offensive to these Republicans that they had to take him out. So I think putting Donald Trump in there as speaker is a fantastic way of their, getting their goal of shutting down the government. Because even though, yes, it's technically true, the Constitution doesn't say that a member of the House has to be speaker. He will be by far the most unqualified speaker ever. And there are actually quite a lot of rules that the speaker has to abide by in order to make the House run. And he's not going to know any of that. He's not going to care about any of that. He doesn't want to do the job. As you said, he's already appearing in New York for his civil fraud trial. He has so many indictments against him. He doesn't have the time to do this. If he does it, the government will do nothing. It's a disaster. The fact that the Republicans are even floating this idea shows how unserious they are in actually governing, because it would be, I would say it's a joke, but it would actually be so catastrophic for the American people to have the House truly unfunctional as they would be with him speaker. I mean, there's so many people that really depend on the federal government in their everyday lives that it wouldn't be funny. It would really be catastrophic. But the fact that they're floating him, I think, just shows like how unserious this Republican Party is now.
Yeah, it's like Gates and his crew are running around like children. Mm-hmm. They really are running around like children. And you're right. People don't realize how much we depend. We like to complain it's dysfunctional. It's not really working on behalf of us. But we can show you better than we can tell you what would happen if this whole thing is just gridlock and just shuts down. And when you think about it, you're exactly right. Trump wouldn't read the rules, and he really doesn't care about the Constitution. So that would be, something that we're perhaps used to. But it does remind me, my daughter is 11. A couple of years ago, I remember she wanted a golf cart. These cost thousands of dollars. And I said to her, well, I could buy you the golf cart, but if I do, Mommy won't be able to pay the bills. We'll lose our home. I made it very dramatic. Would you rather have the golf cart and be out on the street? And she said to me at age 8, yes, Mommy, we can live in the golf cart. And that's the way I feel that these babies are acting. They're running around doing all kinds of nonsense. Something about Nancy Pelosi getting kicked out of her office. Well, she's at a funeral. It's too much. Where does this end? Do you think this will pick up steam?
I think it will, because they're in a really bad position of probably not having a Republican who all the Republicans can agree with. And then their second choice is having a consensus leader who both the Democrats and Republicans can appoint. And that's a seriousness and a maturity that I don't know if it's possible with these. But I think that if the MAGA Republicans wanted to prove that they truly are a cult, having Donald Trump be the Speaker of the House is like the last piece of evidence anybody should need, because there are so many qualified House members who could do that job and could do it well. And I may disagree with their policies, but they could at least do the job. To think that there is only one man out there who can be president, and you're willing to have him be president, despite the fact that he's been indicted so many times, shown to be fraudulently conducting a business to the extent in New York that he can no longer do business in New York. The evidence against him in these criminal trials is staggering, but they're still willing to make him president because there's evidently nobody else in the Republican Party who's qualified to do president. And now on top of that, there's evidently nobody else in the House who's qualified to do the job as Speaker. I mean, that's a cult. I cannot think of any other better evidence to show it, that you think that only one man is qualified to do that job in addition to the presidency. It's astounding to me what they're willing to do to massage his ego, his never-ending need for approval. It would be, it's a destruction, I think, to their own party. And if it was in a vacuum, we could sit back and let this happen. But unfortunately, as their party is self-destruction, we are all going to feel the effects of it. And so this is for sure a historic and really unknown time that we're living in right now. I think watching the destruction of a party and seeing the fallout of that.
Yeah, it's burning to the ground. It may just be rubble left at this point. And you wonder, there's all these people criticizing the Democrats. You should have saved him. Maybe. I don't know. But it's all lies, chaos. Coal is burning. It's just a mess. If you're going to look outside, Donald Trump, Adam Sandler. Go with someone like Adam Sandler. If this is what you want to do, if you just want to make it a joke, at least it'd be entertaining.